now, organisations have seen protecting data as a huge cost, one to be avoided when budgets are tight. The key is to balance the risk of data being unavailable with the cost of protecting this data. Here's how it can be done. When you're looking at data protection, the first question to ask is your data really protected? Gartner says up to 90% of all data is unstructured. And it's growing fast, up to 50% a year. Gartner also says that 28% of corporate data is residing exclusively on laptops or tablets. It's unsecured and probably not protected. In our personal lives and our professional lives, we're used to having access to data all the time. It's an always-on world, which means our data protection solutions must ensure copies are always available. We need to protect data against several risks. Operational recovery is needed whenever a file, application, volume or system is lost, perhaps due to a human error or a software bug. Disaster recovery is more serious. It means restarting operations from or at a remote location, following a major event such as a fire or a critical power outage. And long-term retention is needed for data that has to be kept for a long period, probably for compliance or legal reasons. So, how are organisations approaching the challenge of protecting and storing data? Gartner says that today, 20% are using only snapshot and replication solutions. By 2018, Gartner expects 50% to be enhancing traditional backup with snapshot and replication. As for the cost of copy data, IDC states that storing all these copies consumes 85% of enterprise storage hardware costs. It's clear that we need smarter management of copy data. But data protection is also about service levels. Service levels around RTO, recovery time objective, are concerned with how long your data will be unavailable. The second issue is RPO, recovery point objective, which tells you how much data you might lose since the last copy. The ideal state is to have RTO and RPO equal to or close to 0. But not all data is equal. So, with some simple data classification, we can divide data into critical, important, and standard segments. For critical data, protection solutions include application-aware snapshots for operational recovery, or a combination of application clustering and synchronous or asynchronous replication for disaster recovery. Important data is protected with high-performance backup, as well as remote backup copies for disaster recovery. For standard data, backup is all that's needed, except there is too much data on too many devices in too many locations. Traditional backup simply doesn't work anymore. Standard data is also more than 75% inactive. That is, it never changes. So, once you have a copy, there's no need to back it up every time, week after week. It's better to archive all that inactive data. Standard data is mostly user file data, and users want to access and share their data at any time, in any location, on any device. But the IT organisation needs to secure access to data and to have the data protected at all times. We need to think about doing things differently. We need to transform data protection. The solution for user file data is self-protecting object storage. Hitachi's self-protected object storage solution is the Hitachi Content Platform. It offers a variety of solutions like secure access and file sharing, object file services for group shares and home directories in the cloud, or an intelligent archive repository with rich metadata. Object storage helps with the management and protection of standard data, but critical and important data is more complex. It needs a different approach with lots of copies. The challenge is to reduce storage costs while still guaranteeing data availability. You can manage that complexity with Hitachi Data Instance Director, which will orchestrate all of your copy data. This is the orchestration layer that will translate your service levels into policies. And those policies will define your copies, which could reside on replication, backup or archive platforms like the Virtual Storage Platform, Hitachi Protection Platform, or the Hitachi Content Platform. Hitachi Data Instance Director is a next-generation data protection solution for your flash and object storage. It's cloud-ready and it's hyper-cost-efficient. Find out more about doing things differently to transform data protection. Contact your local Hitachi Data Systems account manager or visit www.hds.com.